The Pistons suck. They suck so bad they officially became the worst team in modern NBA history after losing 28 straight. Here's how they lost every game. Against the number 1 seed, the Pistons consistently tried forcing the Thunder's hand in some way. In the first quarter, they let Chet shoot. He made 3 out of 3 shots from range.
You went live and said you pop niggas.
Second quarter, they tried to keep the Thunder inside the arc. They go 7 from 11 from inside the arc.
You don't pop niggas.
The third quarter, they tried to out-offense them, shooting the most attempts of any quarter, yet the Thunder shot 63% from the field. Basically, with an out-of-character performance from the Giddler, and the entire Pistons roster shooting under 45%, they got outplayed at every turn. Against the third youngest team in the league, the Pistons Lil Bro'd them in the first half, slapped them on the back of the head and hung them on a flagpole as they took an early lead. No Piston had a negative plus-minus as they held the Blazers to under 45% from the field for 2 quarters, but the Blazers couldn't let that run.
I deserve what's coming to me.
In the second half, Scoot was responsible for 9 points in the first 5 minutes, recording 5 himself and getting 2 assists to Ayton. Sharp saw them jumping the Pistons defense and decided to get in on it. It was over from there.
You're done.
Sharp had 26 second half points with 11 in the third alone. The Pistons got vexed and started fouling him, to which he made 7 out of 8 free throws. He made more free throws than the Pistons attempted, and he closed out the game with 29 points on 56% shooting. Basically, the Pistons fumbled. Once again, the Pistons thought they were like that. Against the Zionless Pelicans. Actually, do I need to say Zionless if he's never there? This was his only healthy season. He's basically just a Pelican super senior at this point. Anyway, the Pistons got dicked down every quarter. The first quarter was kinda back and forth, but every Piston got the Gatorade symbol in the first 10 minutes. Second quarter, the Pelicans finished with 72 points. Third quarter, the Pistons realized they weren't hooping like that and they put all their stocks into their physicals, the transition layups, defensive stops and free throws. Which did work for a bit, but it was very much too little too late and they couldn't mount a comeback. KD had 41 but only shot 37% from the first half. They just got fried this entire game. Their interior D was shambolic, they gave away fouls like a fire station baby, and their half-court sets were getting shot down so bad, every possession felt like an Andre Drummond ISO. Just terrible. Curry was like the boogeyman this game. Every time he sat down, the Pistons would peek their head out, start licking their lips together like they're about to start eating, go on a little run, then Curry would just appear back on the court like that. Zapped all their powers like a monster. Curry had a quarter where he went 1 for 6, making the Warriors' leading scorer Kevon Looney, and the Warriors still outscored him.
Are you serious right now, bro?
I just role play at night.
To go up against favorites and lose by only 2 should tell you how good the whole team played. That and that Giannis got thrown out in the second quarter, but he was having a stinker anyway. Through the first half, it was back and forth, with both teams owning a quarter, and while this back and forth was going to continue, in the third, Cade and Sasa linked up and locked in, combining for 40 second half points. Cade was hitting middies early and Sasa came in late and immediately started impacting the team. Then Cade dropped 5 points on 1 of 5 shooting in the fourth while Dame had 18. God damn! They choked. If you ever watch Grey's Anatomy, there's an episode where a patient dies and the whole episode is going through the doctor's accounts, working backwards towards the truth. That's basically this entire game. The Pistons forgot who they were early and had Killian playing like the best player in the world. He shortly remembered who he was and went 2 for 6 in the second. Joel Embiid forgot who he was and remembered he's 700 pounds and built like a sky bison and started drawing fouls. Maxey eventually remembered that he's fast as shit and started rim running. Cade forgot he's the number 1 pick and never recovered. He's currently in a mental hospital twitching like the scarecrow. They started great, but order eventually restored itself. My nigga, they airballed 2 minutes into the game. Fresh legs and everything, they just airballed. They were never destined to win this game. Never.
You are a failure. You are a failure. You can never make it.
We hit him with that American Eagle speech.
The Pistons play horrible teams like it's a Timberwolves playing game. This whole game, they were catching up to the Hawks who took an early lead, but they hung on them like Harold from TDI. They were on their asses. When the Hawks dropped 26, they dropped 21. When the Hawks dropped 33, they dropped 31. And it was like this the whole game. But when you're on their heels the whole game, you will never surpass them. And that's how they lost. They played well, but they simply couldn't close the gap. This felt like a game the Pistons didn't want. Like they'd play decent and try to come back, then they'd slow down, not even to normal stats. They'd suck. Plain blank suck. They were like this for 4 quarters straight. They'd force their way into the paint, hit a float or a midi, then go on a 0-10 run. They'd hit 6 threes in a row, go on a 7-2 run, then play horrible defense and let the lead extend. The NBA scriptwriters put them in a headlock and let their body fall. The Pistons have this weird trait where they either start the game like the 96 Bulls, just straight heat, not missing a damn shot, or they start the entire half like Spice Adams. Guess which one they did today? Lost by fucking 29 points to Dennis Schroeder. That's just sad. The superstars have a temper as Jokic got thrown out this game too, so the Pistons thought shit was gonna be sweet because they weren't expecting Christian Brown to step up with that.
Gang in this bitch.
Truly, this was a well-fought game. The Pistons took advantage of a weak center position and got MB3 18 points on 54% shooting. The issue was while the Nuggets had 4 players score 14 or more points, Cade had 5 turnovers with 2 in the fourth. Every bench player who played above 6 minutes shot under 20%. 20! This was a close game. A lot of free throws, a lot of three-pointers, and a lot of fuck-ass plays. The Pistons threw this game away. It was close the whole game, but the fourth quarter had niggas looking scary. They were shaking in their boots, their feelings were getting hurt. Well, maybe I should hurt more than their feelings. Maybe I should...
Maybe you should start kneeling and I you're so whack, if you were me, you couldn't diss me.
How do you have 5 players who are plus-minus below -15? Your entire starting lineup sold. They couldn't stop a shot to save their life, and their response on offense was Nathaniel B-esque. No D equals no win. I don't think they have water in Detroit because it's always the second half where they fall apart. Why are they always so gassed? What the fuck are they doing in the locker room? This was a shittily close game, with no one truly playing well. Then Kyle Kuzma dropped 18.
I said, damn, bitch.
Why the fuck did he do that? I don't know. The Pistons were slightly on their tail, but do you want to guess how they played in the fourth?
What the fuck, y'all? God damn!
They just started RKOing Wizards out of the air and giving them free throws. They couldn't close out. They suck. This game, I can't even blame the Pistons. I think we forget that AD is an all-time defender, and it really showed this year. For 3 quarters straight, he kept the Pistons under 45% from the field, and in the fourth, coach didn't even put Cade in, he just folded. This game slipped out their hands with just a few bad plays towards the end. They started slow, but Killian and Cade collectively picked up the team's offense. They combined for 54 points and Durant had an effective 10. But Brunson was just a one-man army for half the game. Then Randall remembered he's an all-star and played well, I guess? It was back and forth practically the whole game, but towards the end, the Pistons simply took some poor shots and started relying on being hot more than getting good looks. Meanwhile, Randall had 15 second half points on 70% field goal. Pair that with Brunson's 19 second half points and the 42 he had for the whole game, edged out the Pistons. Pause.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Them ones, innit? I mean, they were trying, but geez, something was always in the way. I mean, Jarrett Allen dropped 10 in the first half, Strus and Garland combined for 26 in the second. In the third, all the Pistons starter had a +10 ±, which is like seeing a girl interested in you. It just doesn't happen. And they still lost the quarter. Then D. Mitch, who at this point had 11 points on 26% shooting, drops 8 points on 75% shooting and a dagger 3. Like, what the fuck else can you do? The Pistons were doing everything right and the basketball gods still hold them.
Zeus! Is this how you face me, coward?
It's a parade inside my city, yeah!
Desmond Bane had 50 and Triple J had 24 with 3 blocks.
It was never gonna be you. It was never gonna be you. So for you to be so delusional.
The Magic were hot basically the entire damn game. Franz had 30 on damn near straight layups and fundamentals. Paolo had 24 like prime Kobe, just fading. Giga had 13 as opposed to his usual 5 points per game. And Cole had 16 coming off the bench. Meanwhile, here goes Cade Cunningham and the Lizard Wizards, shooting 42% from the field. They suck, and I don't want to do this anymore. The Pacers did it again. Basically, they were playing with them niggas, letting the Pistons shoot 41% from 3 in the first half. Held Cade to 2 points in the final quarter and threw away the key on the rest of them. They got fucked up this game. Bad. They were down 14 at the end of the first and Joel had 19. He had 30 at halftime and finished with 41 without playing the fourth. Tobias Harris had 21, goddammit, this was harassment. Apparently game 1 was just a taster cause fucking hell, the 76ers plowed them this game. This was a 76ers free throw practice. Embiid had 16 free throw attempts and the entire Pistons roster had 23. That's 23 between 12 man.
Jesus Christ. Fucking hell, man. I'm finished.
Brother, the Pistons' leading scorer was James Wiseman. That says enough, honestly. It was a bad couple days for the Pistons, man. What do you even want to know about this game? Dame Lana rode to them in the first quarter, Bobby Portis had 18 in the second alone, Giannis shot 100% in the third, the Bucks were just taking turns on them. It was just ugly. After that horrible 5-day stretch, the Pistons saw the Hawks and thought better times were coming, just to get 60 put on them in the first half. Honestly though, this was a hell of a performance from both teams, but the downfall of the Pistons was simply time, as after the first quarter they outscored them each quarter. They were simply down too large, and despite the rising tension, they didn't have enough time. If I say anything about the Pistons, is that they're fucking tryhards, and effort was the whole reason this game was close. They started hot and that gave them a quality lead, but when they started slowing down their offense, defense was the only thing that kept them in it. When they had 5 turnovers in the third, they played great transition defense, they hustled for rebounds, and they sat them cheeks in that chair. But whoever said defense wins games is a master manipulator, cause shooting 33% in the fourth didn't amount to a W. Do you think Bojan hates the young niggas on this team? Cause he'll put up a good couple shots, then Asar Thompson will shoot a 3. Ivy and Bojan were the only net positives in this game. After once again going down in the first, these two would go on runs to try to bring it back, but with the side characters' lack of defense and their mere offensive contributions meant that despite Cam Thomas sucking for most of this game, it would be an easy enough win. Also, they keep panicking in the fourth and spearing niggas out of the air trying to give them free throws. Weird. I personally think that Jaden Ivey channeled his inner Ja Morant and threatened these niggas to lock in, or the handyman comes out. This game was back and forth in the sense that one team would do good for one quarter and the other team would do good for the next. They basically traded heat like celebrities recycle women. But despite the close game, it ended with a Pistons cold streak in the fourth, them panicking, hitting niggas with clotheslines from hell, and not closing out.
But man, get your ass up.
You would think against a damn near 70-win teams the Pistons would get blown out, but you know NBA superstar Jason Tatum. With a good performance from the Pistons all around, it took Kristaps Porzingis hard carrying for 2 quarters until Tatum kicked in. They were waiting on Tatum like Namek Goku, and Tatum stepping up in the third made it a game again, but he doesn't have a clutch gene, so he's more like Vegeta. So Derek White finished it adding a perfect 10 points in overtime. When the Pistons try hard, KP and White try harder. Also, Tatum went scoreless in OT. Finally, the moment we thought would never come, after 28 games of straight mockery and dishonor upon their whole family, they finally managed to secure a win against the Raptors. They almost lost it in the third too when they had 16 points for the whole quarter, but Cade finally closed out spamming his only move, a mid-range. All they had to do was close out their games and they finally did it, thank you Jesus. Moral of the story, the Pistons suck, Cade needs help, stop letting Asar shoot, and for the love of your mum, close out. Here's a vid about the Cavs sucking, fuck the outro, bye.